Right, like that's what it is for the angel to be represented wearing white. A lot of times, especially people who are of people who look like me, they don't like the idea sometimes that white is considered pure or glorified because they think of it as a person. They think of it as a man when it's not even that. And that's one of the bad. That's a thing that kind of sucks about Jesus being depicted as a white man is because we tend to think of that as what it means to be great and good when that's not necessarily the case. That's just a depiction. And the depiction is inaccurate in the sense that people look at that color or that type of hue or whatever you want to call it, and they think of it on a surface level when that's not even the case. It's like the color white is the representation of the crown chakra. And if you know anything about the crown chakra, it appeals to like heaven and, things higher than, things higher than like skin color and things like that. It's much higher than that. Like, it's just like really study the crown chakra because it can be depicted as white light, or it could be, and it can be depicted as purple. Like if you close your eyes, if your vibration is high enough, like you will see that there is purple light in your eyes if you focus on your crown chakra. If you focus on your crown chakra, there's like purple light, and then there's also like a palish color. Like you may get like a mixture of the pale and purple, but that's like the crown chakra because it's giving you those two types of light. It's very important that we take those colors and we take them away from man in a sense, and then we just allow them to be colors and that'll change a lot of things. Like if we just focus on the color and not man himself, because man himself is flawed, and man himself either cannot know himself or he can know himself. A man that knows himself knows that there's much higher than just colors on somebody's body. It's way higher than that. It's very important that we just like think of things objectively in that way. Like, and that's something that I'm becoming like better at every day, is like becoming neutral on a lot of things. And it's very beneficial to be neutral on a lot of things. Like we look at the zodiac and we can see the Libra is the weighing of the scales, and I hope I did not kill that. And anyway, we look at it as weighing of scales, and your heart has to be lighter than a feather. It's basically judgment, and I also want to talk about that as well. It's basically judgment, and you don't want to be heavy on one side or the other. You want to be balanced, and it's very important to maintain that balance. If I'm not mistaken, about the definition, I'm going to talk about compassion. Compassion is way more important than judgment. When you have compassion, you understand, you're taking it from this point of view. You know what it's like to be a human. And since you know what it's like to be a human, you know what it's like to be in a particular position where you're not at your best. And if you're not at your best, you don't behave the best, you don't act the best, you don't do the best. And when you see another person doing this, you either can acknowledge that and you can empathize with them, and you can see it from their point of view, like they're doing this because of this. And I've been in that position, or if I was in that position, if I was in their shoes, then I would probably either do the same thing or I would understand in the same way. So you have to take yourself out of judgment and put yourself in a place of compassion where you are more understanding, and you get what it means to be judged. So you take yourself away from it in a way, or you take yourself out of it. I think it's better to say take yourself out of judgment. Like, one of the biggest things is we judge ourselves based on we judge others based on judgments within ourselves. With that being said, you have to make sure that you're non-judgmental of yourself, and you would in turn be non-judgmental of others. No joke. But I think I'm done. I have such a pretty smile. I love myself. Yeah. I want to say that I am thankful that you are listening to me. I'm thankful that you are a manifestation of what I want to connect to. And I hope that you're able to take this message and you're able to process it, and you're able to get something of value from it. And yeah, I really appreciate that. And I express the utmost gratitude for just that. That being said, hope you have a good day.